Dang, we're getting fancy with this stuff. All right, cool guys. Well, welcome tonight. I know we got a couple different teams on here. My name is Justin, for those of you that don't know me. But I'm excited tonight. We're going to talk about events, why events are important. Maybe you guys will hear from some of these guys like what, shifts happen. And then I think somebody quoted it earlier, shifts happen and then shit happens. So to keep it PG, but you know me, I never do that. But anyways, it's kind of cool to have everybody on tonight. We're going to have some good takeaways. I would get out a pen and paper. I would really take notes of this, guys, because you might actually have shifts as these guys do. I know I'm always writing stuff down, even doing this as long as I've been doing it. And somebody could be doing it for 2 minutes and still have something very, very important to share with us that can change our thought process, just how they word it. So be aware of that. So a few things. One is if you guys are now out and about and kind of moving around, there's some local events going on in our areas. I know in Northern California, we have an event going on the 30th. If you're in that area within a couple hours driving distance, now that we're kind of out and about, and if you feel comfortable being out and about, post COVID, I guess you'd say, get connected with your coaches on what that is. The second thing is if you guys are newer coaches and you're really not sure what convention is, I would highly suggest you guys going. And you're going to probably understand why I said that right after these guys share what World Global can do, because convention is probably 10 times that on a whole nother elevated level. And if you don't have the finances, we've all been there. There's a good way to get a game plan together on how many clients you would probably need to acquire to afford your hotel fare, your airfare, and registration. I would suggest getting that mapped out because we have a few months till that happens. And then obviously, if you guys are working a full-time job, you can also be able to request time off a little early. So work with your coaches on those couple of things. And then just always be in the midst of wondering, hey, is there any local events going on in my area? Asking your groups all the time, make sure that's happening. I'm excited because I was able to hear about the one in Northern California. So that's why I'm able to share it with you guys. But really important for us to kind of get connected with the community. We have our Wednesday breakfast in Upland. I know Desiree DeBay has her breakfast in Laverne, or brunch, I would say, in Laverne. These are things that you want to kind of get to. So I know like Becky Flamong, who's Jamil's coach, she has a coach that's going to come and bring a couple clients to our Wednesday breakfast this week. So as that energy starts to shift back, as we get back to some normalcy, guys, really try to dive into those groups and those different locations that you can kind of really make things happen. And if you don't have one, make one yourself. I think that'd be really important to do. So I'm going to kind of hush and get out of the way. We have quite a few people that are going to get on and kind of share. And like I said, please take a pen and paper and really understand the power of what this can do for you if you guys make it to an event. So we're going to have Miss Megan come on first, since she's rocking and rolling and got quite a few health assessments after this call. We want to make sure we get her on and rocking. Megan, are you there?
I am. Hey, Justin.
Awesome. Nice, sweetie. How you
doing? Yeah, so just want to share a few things that I took away from Grow Global. I thought it was an incredible event. That was the first event that I have gotten to go to where I qualified, because I just hit ED. And it was just really cool. Just the energy there, getting to meet a lot of people that we see on Zoom all the time, that we've, you feel like you know them, but then you see them in person and you really feel like you know them and get to know them, which is amazing. And I think it just brings this sense, like it really ties the whole community aspect together, because you're meeting these people in person and you do realize, like, all of us have the same mindset here. We're all working towards the same healthy goal. So just, it really like heightens this community aspect. And then a few things I took away from it. I felt like getting myself from, brand new coach to ED, it was a lot of faith and trust, just like trusting my coaches, trusting the process. And then I think going to Grow Global and realizing like what it's going to take to get to the next levels, I realized that there's going to be a lot of strategy involved, which is great. But it really comes to, okay, these are the things that they've been telling us to do. Now I need to really put those into action and stay in structure. And then just one other like takeaway that I noticed is we barely talked about weight loss, like, and that really tied it home, because it's like, most of us joined this program for weight loss, but it's really so much more. And that was a big takeaway for me, because, to grow my business, like I need to start offering coaching more and like not be afraid to offer coaching. So just, learn some good tips on the way to approach offering coaching. Another one was, I think Dr. A said this, but your business will never outgrow where you are with your personal development, which was huge for me. It made me realize like, okay, I need to thoroughly read through all of the materials, that we're provided with our life book. And I'm not going to let that stop me from doing the action before I finish it or anything, but really just, honing into that. And just that your business is really a reflection of how you see yourself. So if I'm confident in this program and I'm confident in our community, that's going to reflect. And I'm not going to be scared to offer this to people because it really is a gift. And then just one last takeaway. I know I'm like close to time, but tap rooting, I think is what it's called. The idea of not only knowing your coaches and your clients, but really getting to know your coaches' clients, because there was this really cool demonstration that was done with, I'm not exactly sure who it was, but he had everyone stand up that was that he had talked to or had a health assessment with or been involved with in some way. And there was like 70 to 80 people that stood up, like a ton of people. And then he said, who have directly sponsored in this room? And only one person stood up. So all these people came from him sponsoring one person. So I thought that was, thank you. I thought that was just incredible and really like put it into picture, like how important it is to really stay in contact with your, your coaches' clients too. And then you really never know who can come from that, because you can have some like really great runners coming from your coaches' clients or your coaches' referrals, or, the whole down line. Yeah, that's all I have. Thanks for letting me speak.
Yeah, no, that's great. And it's Brian Drollinger. I put that in the chat and I think Debbie did too. So Brian Drollinger is pretty much right after Lori. So it goes Dr. A, Lori, Brian Drollinger, even I believe Dan Bell even came in a little bit later and kind of re-strategized the comp plan, but that's really how it goes. So he's been around for a while and it was a really powerful move for him to share that he didn't directly sponsor. So that's a great few takeaways for sure. Well, awesome. Well, we're going to have Desiree DeBay come off and she's going to kind of share her takeaways. Desiree, are you there?
Yep, I sure am. So I think the biggest thing I took away from this event is, number one, you guys, I think you're probably going to hear it from every speaker tonight, the power of events. And I guess the best way to describe it is when you hear your favorite song on the radio. And I say this to my team all the time. You hear your favorite song on the radio and it's cool and you're happy and you're singing the song and whatnot. Even if you blast it really loud, it sounds a little bit better. But what about when you go to the concert? And everyone in that concert hall is all listening to that music with you, and everybody's standing and dancing, and strangers have their arms around each other and they're all singing the words and they have their phones up with the lights and you feel the music through your body. That is an event. That is the power of the event. You feel everybody's energy in the same room at the same time and it lights you on fire. And there's nothing like feeling that way, having that type of high. So, you got to get yourself to events. And something that I shared earlier on one of our other calls, I think it was an FIBC call or something like that. But I think we all need to know this, even if you're a brand new day one coach, is sponsoring is everything. And if you stop and reflect on why you're here, that's what we're giving away. And, I know that we all talk about senior coach and we talk about getting to executive director, and it's so exciting to get there. But if we really start seeing the bigger picture and start seeing executive director as we're kind of just getting to senior coach and kind of make it a little bit smaller, so let's start running to global. If we start running to global instead, you're bringing people with you. And if you look around this room, and just wait till you get to convention too, and you see all the people in that room who are coaches, and you start looking at the possibilities and you're like, holy smokes, I'm playing small. I've been playing small. I've only been looking for people like me. But look at this diverse crowd that is nothing like me. So when you really start seeing how many people are actually looking for this at a higher level, you kind of start to see how big this actually is and how it should not be scary to bring on coaching partners, because just like we need it and we're passionate about this and we fall head over heels in love with coaching, so will everyone else that you bring on to coaching. Right? So that's probably my biggest takeaway, is just that, and just taking radical responsibility for everything we do and everything we don't do in our business. Okay, it's kind of like one of those things where when we don't feel like doing it and we check out for a couple of days, look how many lives we could have touched in those days that we may never get that chance to touch again. So that's what probably my biggest takeaway is just playing a lot bigger.
That's awesome, man. That's good information for sure. Yeah, I love hearing all these little nuggets too, because we all have different perceptions of what we're seeing and what we're going through, and we're in different stages of our coaching career. So it's kind of cool. So Miss Julie, are you there? I know you and your daughter are rocking and rolling with all these health assessments. We got to get you girls in here and out, right? Rock and roll, man. Are you there?
Yeah. Thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you for switching it up. So it was just a great global was amazing. I mean, it keeps you inspired. It makes you want to grow. Basically, I think for me, kind of what I heard was structure, how important structure is, and also events, like Desiree said. And I don't remember who said this, but in my notes, they talked about foundational activities and framing activities. Foundational activities, it's basically work on yourself, lead with your own health. We're still clients too, and really work on yourself. So foundational activities are books, podcasts, be at as many trainings as you can be at, work with your mentorship, and take 30 minutes with yourself to reflect on the book that you read, the podcast, the notes that you took, when you can. And really to know that you're worthy of good health and being healthy, but you're also worthy of building a business. And it can be, like Desiree said, a big business. Maybe we're keeping ourselves small because of our mindset. So that's foundational activities. And then I put down the framing activities are expanding your connections, your friends, your postings, networking. Starting something I want to do in my business that I haven't done yet is starting either coffee days, one Sunday a month or every other Sunday, or where we meet for coffee and we go on a hike. But doing things like that, putting things and time into developing your business. It doesn't have to be a lot of time, but a couple times a month, I think that's big. Another thing is look honestly at your current reality, and then also your desired outcomes. Write it down. So your current reality, I wrote down, can be mindset, your weight and your health. Maybe your weight's not where you want to be. Maybe it is. Your financial reality. Where's your Optavia business? Maybe personal relationships. And then what do you want? What's your desired outcomes? For me, I said I want to mentor more coaches. I want to help change more lives. I know that I want a large Optavia business. I want to keep going with this. It's really a huge bright spot in my life. I want to take my girls to Europe, and I want to be financially stable. So I don't know if that's abundance or just comfortable that I'm not worried all the time, but that's what I want. And then just to sum it up, Dr. A talked about the fact that we really have control over three things, which is our perceptions, our decisions, and our actions. So, it's up to us to make it happen. It's not up to anybody else. And he says, we all have this inner roommate, which I thought was awesome. We have this roommate in our head. So hopefully this roommate is a positive roommate, but you want to ask yourself, where am I? Can I accept myself where I am right now? And am I willing to shift? So because willingness, as we all know, has so much to do with everything. So for me, it was structure and events. Do the work, the books, the podcast, do the things that will help your personal development, which in turn will help you build your business. So that's pretty much it. Hope I didn't go over.
No, that's great, Julie. That was really good. I really like that. Well, cool. Well, awesome. Miss Beverly, are you there?
I'm here. Let me put my timer on because I'll go over. So we all kind of have the same version, kind of the same vision. A lot of us took away a lot of the same things, like the roommate, things like that. One of the things I really liked was Brian Dollinger. He said, it's not about who you know, it's about who they know and who they will lead you to. And then he talked about the 7 layers deep, which was the visual that Megan talked about. And so basically what that means is you've got your coaches, they have their clients have coaches, their coaches have clients. And so you need to know who these people are, and you need to be on celebration calls. Hello, celebration calls. Celebration calls and get to know all these people, because we're not supposed to coach alone, just like we're not supposed to do the 5-1 alone, right? So, and we do get paid, which is something I didn't realize. We do get paid 6 levels down. So it's in our best interest to get to know people 6 levels down, because you never know who's going to be down there who may want to have a huge IDP business or something, right? So that really struck home with me. And then just so it's not all repetitious, since we all kind of, have the same thing, I wrote down the 15 commandments of coaching. So I'll read them off real quick. So my own health is my top priority. I view health as holistic, body, mind, and finances. Number 3, I am committed to personal growth for myself and my team. Number 4, I am the master of my schedule. Number 5, I choose my best yes. And what that means is I choose what I decide to do. So my best yes. And that's okay to say no to things. Is that what that means? You claim it, you have massive action. You claim what you're going to do, then have massive action. I am becoming ridiculously good at launching and supporting new clients. I will always order between the 1st and the 5th of the month from my coach. That's an integrity thing. I have a scheduled client support day. It's not negotiable. My clients will know because I will call. I will attend every event and training that I'm invited to. I have set goals for each month. Each client is on a health assessment form, even potential clients. My business is flexible, but not optional. I understand the importance of celebration calls, which I just talked about. I will meet my coaches where they are at, whether it's confidence, accountability, income, health, goals, and actions. And my business is only as strong as its foundation. So I'll write those out though, because I know you can't write them all at the same time, but that's my takeaway. So I'll type that out or something, and we'll put it in one of the groups or something. I'm not sure who said. Does anybody know who said that? I don't remember.
I'm sure we can find it on the playback. They'll be having the playbacks coming.
Yeah, but it's like the 15. I call it the 15 coaching commandments. So
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool. Last thing. New level, new devil was really kind of hit me too. It seems like when you hit a new level, you get a new devil. You get a new level. It's like the little guy in your head gets spinning around. So, but yeah, that's all I got.
That's all I got. You could do a whole training on that by yourself once we figure out. But no, that's really good. Thank you so much. And it's so true, guys. I mean, there's a famous lady, and I'm sure somebody can quote who she is, but the bigger the success, the bigger the shit sandwich. I mean, let's just be real, right? So as you get further into this, things are going to test you. As you get bigger into this, bigger things are going to start to happen. And that always goes back to, and I say this, even though people don't like talking about finances, is if you have a $3,000 a month business and a $10,000 problem shows up, it derails you. But if you have a $20,000 a month business and a $10,000 problem shows up, it's a walk in the park. And there's levels to that. Don't get me wrong. You don't need to be astronomical with your prices, but if you have a certain income coming in that's allowing you to bump around things. Example, I don't want to get far into it, but like me and Desiree, we had to buy separate plane tickets and not deal with anything. We had to drive to a different place. I had to park my car. It was $250 to park my car, $600 for airplane tickets. So when Dr. A talks about building this business to the next level, that's to allow you to have options, because like to Beverly's point, the next level, the bigger the devil, right? Or I might not have quoted that right, but you guys got to really understand, we're not asking you just to build a big business because we want you to be making a lot of money and look at us. It's really giving you options of what that looks like. And like I said, the bigger the success, the bigger the sandwich. So that's really good. So Terry, are you there? I know you're coming off with some great nuggets.
Hi, I am. I guess, going 4th or 5th is great, because I got a lot of the same nuggets that were already talked about. One of the things was do a systems check every morning with yourself. Is your own health on point? When I'm challenged with something, when there's that obstacle, what needs to change in me to move forward? And to make the decision every day to treat this like a business every day, meaning structure, organization, schedule. And a few of a few of us already said this, but my business will never outgrow my personal growth. I love personal growth. But I think Julie said it too, that, you can listen to all the podcasts and read all the books, but if you don't do anything with that, what's going to happen? Nothing. Getting into action. My foundation needs to be strong. It's as simple as acquire clients, support clients, acquire coaches, support coaches. Shift from telling people to asking questions. That was big for me. I have a lot of, people that ask, well, what's your program all about? And I tend to just spew what it's about, give them just a little bit of the nuggets and then start asking questions. Everybody's different. But the biggest thing is that if I really want to build this business, being ED just isn't going to cut it. I need to get into massive action. I need to find coaches. So my mind has shifted to looking for, but focusing on coaches, treating everyone as a potential coach, not necessarily I've been reaching out to people that don't need weight loss. And I didn't really do that before. Everybody could use this program. And like Megan said, so little was talked about weight loss at Grow Global. And if we just really lock into this model that Dan Bell and Dr. A, they gave this to us on a silver platter, basically. Follow the system, lock into the model, get crystal clear, get into action. And the biggest mistake that most coaches make is trying to do too much with too little. That really hit. Set the goal, finish that goal before setting a new one, and then set another one, but bigger. But get to your goal. Don't multitask and try and do, get to this goal, because it is a tier-based thing in our systems. So if you just do the next step, we'll get to where we need to be. And for the love of God, use your mentorship, ask for help. That's what I got.
I like that. We like getting bugged, man. Like for some reason, everybody likes to do it on their own. But here's the biggest thing. I'll tell you a little secret. You ready? Do you know why you were attracted to this business? For the community. So why do we continue to try to do it on our own? It don't work. So good stuff, Terry. Thank you so much. So we're going to have Jeanette Palmer, which I'm excited for this lady right here.
Why are you excited? You don't even know what I'm going to say. It might be scary.
It might be scary, but I'm pretty sure I'm excited.
Okay, it won't be scary. I didn't want to repeat a lot of what everybody already said, but one thing is, and this is just playful and fun, is I had a lot of FOMO not going into the global room. So day 2 and 3, all the globals got to go into another room. So I have FOMO. I do recommend having all your coaches stay together and getting in an adjoining room. That was super fun because there's a lot of popcorn takeaways at night. So everything that we learn, we talk about at dinner, afterwards, but some things that I did learn, and kind of to tag on to the 3 things we have control over: our perception, our decision, our actions. I actually text this to my sister but there's more to it. They also said, look in the mirror for who is responsible for the problems in your life. You are distorting reality into your story, and let it go. I happen to need to say it to a person in my life. I already said who. Transactional leadership: develop myself, develop others, develop organizations, your organization. So this is teaching your coach how to coach, and then watching them once you've trained them and told them what to do, watch them do it. So for instance, making sure they do the texts, making sure they do the calls, night 1, night 4, night 8. That 2-week call is huge. If your coaches aren't doing that call, and saying, all 20 of my clients just don't seem to want to do these calls. Well, it's not all 20 of those clients don't want to do the calls. You don't want to do the calls. So what is behind that you're not wanting to make these calls? This is what Dr. A, this is all laid out for us, how to do it. And 20 years of people have done it, of coaches have done this before us. Why make it hard? They've made it so simple. It's so streamlined now. there's a lot of gals on my team. We have day jobs. I've been fighting structure constantly, but I think from this one, my biggest takeaway was I literally have everything in my calendar, but I wasn't following it. I would still go bing, bing, bing. An email came, a text came, and I would bounce all over the place, always felt overwhelmed. So the only way I know I'm going to stop feeling overwhelmed is to literally stick to everything in my calendar. And by the way, I did a schedule of day job, Optavia, walking my dogs, working out, relaxing. There is time for everything. There is time. What makes me feel overwhelmed is bouncing back and forth on a day job and Optavia and coach. It's just, for 2 years, I'm like, oh my God, how do I do this? But I want to grow it. And I kept waiting to find time to do Optavia. Once I catch up on my day job, then I can, add friends, and then I can reach out to people. It never happened for 2 years. So now it's like, forget it. My day job needs to, okay, one more thing. My day job stays in the day job time or less. Everything else is Optavia before and after, and weekends if I need be. That's it.
I love it when everybody always says that's it. That's some good stuff, man. It's so true. I mean, you have to have structure, guys. You have to have structure and you have to have discipline. At the end of the day, you have to, if you really want this thing to be big, you have to treat it as a business. I mean, flat out. And I think one of the biggest things for me, and I don't know if it was directly said, is Dr. A spent a lot of time. He lived on credit cards for 3 years. He moved his family across the country. He literally sat there and walked away from a multi-million-dollar physician's pay after multiple years of schooling, dedication, time, not necessarily wasted, but he gave a lot up that he could have just been on cruise control with to build this thing. And for us to come in and think that client celebration calls can just be optional, to think Coach Explorer calls can just be optional, to decide for somebody else, you're starving them from their life. You might as well put your hands around their throat. If you're not going to offer them coaching because you think you know better than them, you're way off. You're way off. I am so grateful my coach one didn't put me on a chubby's list, because I wouldn't have made the list. And who knows where I'd be now. Let's just be real. So these are all important things, guys. Jeanette made a good point, and that was one of probably the best takeaways I could say, according to with what Dr. A is saying, is he put a structure in place. We have a phenomenal pay structure. We have a phenomenal system that works. We have a phenomenal health program that works. We have a phenomenal community. But if you decide to pick and choose what you're going to use with that, go make your favorite recipe and take 3 main ingredients out and let me know how that tastes. Let me know how it tastes. So anyways, we got the last but not least, my aunt. She likes to always say that on calls, so I guess I'll say it first. Miss Joy, are you there?
I am. Wow. Okay. You can hear me, right? Yeah, cool. Okay. Jeanette referenced the training where it was globals and above. And I sat in there and I realized what we had 5 years in. I realized the gift that we have. It was powerful to be in a room with people that have been coaching from 12 to 18 years. And their integrity, their humility, and them sharing exactly where they came from, where they're going. But something, and it's been referenced here, but I really want to repeat it. Terry Miller, if you don't do celebration, whatever you call them, celebration calls, tip calls, integration calls, you will not bring on coaches. Boom, done. She has 2,900 EDs on her team. I'm listening, right? That, like Jeanette said, that is what our clients pay for: team coaching, team support. Please do those calls. I actually pulled her aside because I wanted her to clarify what she meant about going down about clients. Those celebration calls are so important because when your mentor coach is on there, they are going to friend your client, because that client now sees their coach, their mentor's coach, living out loud. That's powerful. And if by chance that client becomes a coach and that coach above them maybe walks away, that was the Brian Drollinger example. So that, to me, out of the entire 4 days, was really powerful. And she said, if you don't do those calls, you will not bring on coaches. Also, they really talked a lot about legacy, and it really made sense to me. I was thinking about, someone asked me my story in that room, and I told a little bit about it. I was really starting to think about it. Corporate America, 20 years, exciting. I loved it. But there wasn't a legacy. And I really understood when Terry really went deep into legacy. An example, her and David are leaving for Europe for 6 weeks. They will not touch their business. It will continue to grow. They will also, their grandchildren will be taken care of. Now, and when they said that, it can be a trust fund, it can be homes, it can be nonprofits. It never really sunk in until I sat in that room. Be around those people that think bigger. I wasn't thinking bigger enough. I came home and I was like, this is it. This is it. I'm playing too small. I'm not reaching out to everyone. And it was unbelievable. I never felt this way. And I always thought I was all in, but this took it to a new level. So everyone has shared so many wonderful things. The one last thing I'm going to leave you with, the map. She said, don't chase your team. They don't give you their map on the first day of the month. Don't chase them. Next. And I was like, whoa. But she's right. Those are the people that want to grow a business. And she talked about those boxes at the top, your senior coaches, put them on there. In 3 months, if they're not a senior coach, they go off. Who's next? And she, she's very matter of fact. I love that, like Justin is. I'm very bottom line. I love the metrics. I'll leave you with looking at numbers. And Justin, I had Justin clarify. Every 10,000 of your group volume should be one coach. So if you have 50,000 group volume in your organization, there's 5 coaches. So really those metrics are really good to look at and to grow your business 10% per month. So I just was so overwhelmed in that room. I sat down and I just absorbed and watched everyone. And it was such a gift. So anyways, thank you, Justin, for letting me share. I've been dying all since I came home.
Yeah, no, I'm fired up too. In fact, on the ED call at 11 o'clock, I was supposed to get on and talk, and I kind of just basically yelled at everybody for 5 minutes. So I feel the energy, man. It's infectious. You really, it almost reminds me of like when my dad used to choke me and yell at me when I did stuff wrong, and he meant it for good cause. And you mean it for good cause with your kids. I'm not literally choke me, but you get what I'm saying. When your kids are going down the wrong path and you're really trying to redirect them, I'm pretty sure everybody on here, maybe except for Megan and a few others, are parents, but you get my drift. Like when your kids are going in the wrong direction and you're trying to guide them back, and then they bang their head on the wall and they burn their hand in the kitchen and they spill the water all over the counter when they're young, and you try to guide them back. Guys, learn what you're learning. Do what you're supposed to do. When I say you're supposed to do it, I'm not your boss. I'm a mentor. I've been down these roads. I've banged my head on the wall. I've slammed my hand in the door. Whatever analogies or silly things you want to say, but there's a system here that can lead you to greatness. So I'll leave you with this. If we had a winning lottery ticket for, let's just go to $1 billion, since we're on a whole nother level nowadays. $1 billion winning lottery ticket. And I told you, I can guarantee you 100%. If we scratch the numbers the way they're designed, that's all you got to do with your coaches. Hey, we're going to scratch the 2 first. We're going to make a list, do some health assessments. Nah, you know what? 2's not my favorite number, man. I'm not going to go with that. I'm going to try a 6. Why do we do that? Hey, the second number is going to be a 5. We're going to start scheduling some celebration calls, and we're going to start doing some Coach Explorer calls with some coaches. Nah, 6 is my ex's favorite number. I'm out. I'm going to go with a 3. Banging our head on the wall constantly, guys. We've been down this road. These guys are making, disclaimer in here, I don't know if anybody has the stuff. I'm not as slick as Jamil with that. There is people that have grown their business by $300,000 a month from 2019 to 2021. $300,000, not a year, a month in this business. And they're teaching us on these Monday night trainings. They're teaching us in the systems they've provided for before us. And we yet, for some reason, don't want to follow the system. You don't need to go build a huge business. That's not what we're asking you. But if you follow the system, you know what sucks? You're going to go build a huge business. One last thing I'll say, I had a guy in the room, and I want you to hear this. Everybody thinks, well, I got to know this. I got to know that. I got to know this. A guy came up to me and he was kind of, you could see it in his face. He's like, oh God, here comes Justin. I can read people pretty well. And I said, hey man, how you doing? He's like, well, just start spewing it out. Just like a client when they mess up, or a friend you've seen after a few years. I'm like, well, I probably need to be doing more work. I'm like, oh, well, why would you say that? Well, just I'm not doing all the actions I'm supposed to be doing. I'd rather be golfing. Okay. Well, what's allowing you to golf? Well, this program is allowing me to golf. Okay. Well, wouldn't it be kind of important to do that? Yeah, but I feel like I don't know everything. And it's just so, and I said, well, how are we doing with our, first thing I said to him, I didn't skip a beat. How are we doing with our celebration on our Coach Explorer calls? Well, I don't really schedule those. Well, if you don't know what a coach looks like or how to find a coach in your team, wouldn't it be good to do a celebration call? If you don't know what a potential client looks like, wouldn't it be good to schedule a practice call? Guys, your coaches are here to help you. That's why we do the celebration call, so you can learn to see what a coach looks like, to ask the right questions. That's why we do a Coach Explorer call, so you can teach your coaches how to do that. There is literally a coaching for dummies. You guys ever see those books for on the yellow books, coaching for dummies, coaching for this, coaching? I mean, come on, for real, for real. So the last thing I'll leave you with is, I don't care if you're broke. Right now, I'm going to say this flat out. I don't care if you're broke. Every one of you guys is on my downline or my team or whatever you want to call it. I say this to every single person. Figure out how to get to convention. This might make me go broke, but figure out how to get to convention. You pay for your flight. You pay for your fare. You pay for your registration. You pay for whatever you pay for on that trip. I'll even go down to the food you spend. And it doesn't change your life. When you come back, I will reimburse you personally for that investment. Now there's 41 people on here. That's probably about $40,000 minimum that I'm talking about investing in you guys, because that's how much I believe in convention. Josh and Michelle were 2 weeks into coaching. Their first month of coaching, they made $6,000 because they got the fire from convention under them. They caught me in income in 4 years, and it took me 9 to get to. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this if you're willing to follow the system. If you're not that smart, follow the system. If you don't know what to do, follow the system. If you're nervous, follow the system. It will make you grow in a good way. So, hey guys, thanks so much for being on. Let's rock and roll. Let's hopefully register for convention, figure out how to get there. If you don't have any money right now, guess what? 17 clients is $2,200. That will plus some save you for that. And you got, what's the date? May 25th, June 25th. We got almost pretty much 2.5 months to be able to create some kind of $2,000 additional dollars somewhere, somehow. And we got about 2 months to get ourselves out of our job for one trip. And I'll be honest with you, if you guys have another trip planned because it's your birthday, your anniversary or something, the best gift you could give your hubby or your spouse or yourself for your birthday is change up that date, because I've heard it before, been around a while. Well, I have a trip 3 weeks before, can't get more time off. I would highly suggest changing that, because then you can go on 50 of those trips funded yourself because you quit your job, if that's really what you want. So give up the good for the great. Have a good night, guys. We'll talk to you soon. I'll post the playback in a little bit.